How y'all doing, everybody? This is Prince at Addis, NOLA Ethiopian Kitchen over here in New Orleans. I'm glad you could join me, everybody in Lafayette. We're about to get into it, and what we're doing over here is taking you on a journey through cuisine, culture, and tradition in Ethiopia. Why are we doing that? Because y'all have been a great opportunity. Y'all have a great opportunity to read an amazing book by Haben Gurma, right? And to understand a little bit more about the author of this amazing book, you have to understand where she comes from, right? Her mother's Eritrean, her father's Ethiopian, right? And so what we're gonna do is dive into some of that culture today, the best way that we know how to. Food. And I'm glad you guys can join us. First, we have to talk about why Ethiopia is so absolutely special. We call it the land of origins, right? The origin of what, you ask? So many things. They say in Ethiopia is a person called Lucy. And this is about one of the oldest people that we know today. They're about 3.2 million years old, right? And that was found in the Delo region in Ethiopia, one of the hottest regions on earth as well, too. Not only that, it's the origin of coffee in the world. So you see Starbucks, you might not think Ethiopia, but you should, right? Because it starts with a man named Kaldi about 1,000 years ago. His goats were eating on the fruit of the coffee in Ethiopia, and they were uncontrollably energetic. What was happening, they were enjoying this when they couldn't go to sleep. They were bouncing off the mountains, extremely hypergenic. What happened is Kaldi took this plant, and then he took it to a priest in Ethiopia to find out what was going on. Okay? And so whenever they did it, they couldn't figure out why this fruit was giving the goats a lot of energy. So out of frustration and anger, they took it and they actually threw it in a fire. What they didn't know was they were actually roasting the coffee fruit and roasting the beans on the inside and filling the room, filling the palace, the castle that they were in with the aroma, with the smell of coffee. And we still do that today, 1,000 years later. It's called our Ethiopian coffee ceremony. And it's absolutely amazing. It's another amazing part about the home of Haben Gurma, where she comes from, understanding a little bit about herself as well. And so we're going to get into it. Today we're making one of my favorite dishes, a popular dish everywhere in Ethiopia. It actually looks like we have some Ethiopian coffee ceremony. As I'm talking about it, coming up right here, Mr. Lafayette Williams right here, coming in here with us. Yeah, there it is. Give me some of those. Woo! Take a look at that. Bring it close to the camera. Let them see. Yeah, that's what that's about. That's it right there, my man. Give me some of those. So we always love to start our day like that. In any typical household, that's what will be going on in Ethiopia. Absolutely sensational, right? So we're making today chicken tips, one of my personal favorite dishes, a popular dish in Ethiopia. Anytime, anywhere, you always get this dish made. Sometimes the only difference is they'll use maybe a different protein. So instead of chicken, they might use shrimp, or you can use even portobello mushrooms, or you can use a smaller mushroom, or you can use pretty much any type of protein that you have, as long as you get the tips, ingredients. And that's what I'm going to show you guys. And we're going to put that together. It's going to be really fun, absolutely amazing. This is a very simple dish to put together, but absolutely delicious. That's why everyone loves it. And I definitely think some people will be impressed if you know how to put this dish together as well. So let's go in the kitchen. Let's go make this happen. I'm glad you guys can join me on this journey through Ethiopian cuisine, culture, and tradition. We're already into it. Let's make it happen. Woo! We made it over here to the Addis NOLA kitchen. I'm glad you could join me. Like I said, we're making one of my absolute favorite dishes, one of the absolute popular dishes in Ethiopia, chicken tips. And like I said, you can use any protein for this, but we're using chicken just because it's easy. Everybody loves chicken, and we can make it happen. All right, so I'm gonna go ahead and get started with some really simple ingredients that everybody has. There's some ingredients that you might not have, but it's okay. There's some different variations that you can use, and I'll explain those once we get started. All right, so once we're gonna start getting that pot hot, and just take about a quarter cup of some vegetable oil, just to protect that pot, protect everything that you got in there. Just let that thing get hot, all right? And so I have my chicken tips, right? And all tips is just taking any type of protein that you have and cutting it into bite-sized cubes that are really easy to share. And the whole point of this is sharing, eating with your family, eating with your friends, enjoying a really delicious, flavorful meal. And that's what we have over here. What we're doing right now is getting this pot hot. And as I'm getting this hot, I'm actually going to share with you some really cool history about Ethiopian culture. There's actually 13 months in Ethiopia, which is absolutely amazing, absolutely sensational. Ridiculous. 12 months have 30 days, and the extra 13th month has either 5 or 6 days in the year. Some more history is Addis. Addis NOLA is actually our restaurant's name. Where it comes from is Addis Ababa, which is the capital city of Ethiopia. What it translates to is new flower, which is all kind of connected to New Orleans as well too, which is why we love what we do, and we absolutely are really happy to share with you guys. So right now it's getting a little bit smoky over here. That's exactly where I want it. You kind of want to be a little bit safe whenever you're at home. And you hear that? That's what you want to hear. That is exactly what you want to hear, that searing. And I'm going to turn it down a little bit so nice and hot. So we're going to let it get brown on the other side. We're going to let it sear, get some really nice color, add some texture to the meal. And whenever you're allowing it to do that, you're adding some really nice flavors to the overall meal. Right now, I'm going to go ahead and add about 2 pinches of salt in this thing right here. If you want to, you can go ahead and be fancy with it, right? 3 pinches, 4 pinches, just to make sure we got that right, just to add the flavor to it. And so it's going pretty fast. Chicken usually cooks a lot fast. Shrimp will cook a lot faster than if you use other types of proteins like red meats or anything like that, right? So I'm noticing it's getting some really nice color, really getting that flavor, building that flavor right now with everything going on. And yeah, so like I said, Ethiopian food is made for sharing. It's made for family-style meals. And a lot of it is actually eaten with a flatbread called injera, okay? Injera is a sourdough flatbread. It's actually fermented for about 3 days. It's really healthy for you. We're gonna show you some more of that in this video as well too. So as this chicken is starting to get some really nice color, I'm gonna go ahead and add my chopped yellow onions in here. And one of the amazing parts about this dish is that everything can kind of go in the pot at once. It makes it really simple, really easy for everybody at home to get along a part of this as well. And as we're building this flavor, you can see why people absolutely love this dish. And I also like to throw my chopped jalapenos in there. So you can use any type of pepper again. Bell pepper, chop it down. You can use any type of pepper. And as it's really getting some good color, I'm gonna go ahead and speed up the cooking process just a little bit more. I'm gonna give it a nice toss. And this is one of my favorite parts about the whole cooking process. This is when the fun happens. So come and check that out. The onions are caramelizing. All of those flavors are getting put together. I'm turning down the heat just a little bit. And now is the perfect time to throw in that garlic paste, about a teaspoon, and that stick of rosemary that I have, a garlic ginger paste. And the flavors are really coming together right now. As those onions start to caramelize, you can really see why this is one of our absolute favorite dishes. And we're building flavors here. That is the most important part. We're building flavors. I add another pinch of salt. And right now is a great time to go ahead and throw in those tomatoes. We're throwing them in a little bit later so we can keep them kind of fresh. You see those big, beautiful chopped tomatoes. We're going to go ahead and mix that bad boy again. Just look at that color. Come check this out. Just look at that. The color, the caramelized onions mixing with the chopped jalapenos, the tomatoes in there, those flavors. It just doesn't get much better than that, people. It does not get much better than that. So now you can kind of turn that heat down a little bit. and really let everything blend. It already is starting to smell absolutely sensational. I'm excited about this. I'm getting hungry as we're cooking right now. Oh yeah, looking absolutely sensational. Once we get to a point that we're like, if it's looking somewhere a little bit closer to this, this is a perfect point to add our berbere. Berbere is absolutely sensational. It's about a 15 spice blend. We're talking about cayenne, paprika, ginger, garlic, allspice, fenugreek, cardamom. That's only about 7. I can keep going, right? Nutmeg. It just keeps, it's endless. But what you can do, since you might not have this magical Ethiopian spice, a cayenne and paprika mix works perfectly well just to get that kind of heat that you want. You can use any of the other ingredients that I also included. I also love a nutmeg in there just to give it some more flavor. Maybe even some cinnamon, just to add some really, really nice components to this as well too. So we're gonna go ahead and add our berbere, a magical spice from Ethiopia, which is really a key component in all of Ethiopian cuisine. We even have our own little spice blend right here for you all right now. So here you go. We're adding a nice amount of that. I would like to be really, really generous with my berbere. Really, really generous, right? And then we're mixing again. Getting it to blend, add those flavors, right? And right now, as the flavors are all the spices are getting connected to those caramelized onions, the tomatoes, the peppers, the ginger, garlic paste, the rosemary, and the salt. We're going to go ahead and add another secret component in Ethiopian cuisine, kibe. And kibe, all it is a clarified butter infused with herbs and then some black cardamom. Absolutely sensational. What you can use is just unsalted butter towards the end of it, again, to kind of help everything come together and to really enhance the flavors in the dish. Or you can go without it as well too, which is also really an awesome kind of switch up on the dish as well. So I'm going to go ahead and just add not too much, just enough of that right there. And you can really see all of the flavors coming together in this pot. I'm sure you can smell it from wherever you are. Just take a look at that. Absolutely amazing. All of those flavors coming together. And you see why, naturally, this is one of the most loved favorite dishes in Ethiopia. The flavors are there, the spices are there, the onions, everything coming together in this. And now it's time to plate. So let's go ahead and put this on a plate for you guys right now so y'all can see what it's all about whenever you're enjoying a dish like this with that injera that I talked about at that fine family style plate that we have over there in the front part of the restaurant. So let's go make that happen. Ooh, take a look at that. And here we back are at our meso, our Ethiopian table right here. I'm gonna go ahead and set this bad boy down. Yep. And now it's time to eat. Let's do it. Like I said, this is absolutely amazing. You do not have Ethiopian food if you do not have injera. Long process, all really fluffy. Just watch how that tears. Come here, come take a look at that. Just look how soft and airy and fluffy that guy is. Kind of like a tortilla over here, but kind of sourdough flavor, which is perfect for mixing with the spices that we have. And you just take that bad boy and get it in there. From here, you're almost done. Check that out. We're almost done here, people. You get a nice piece. I usually like get a really nice piece of everything. 3 fingers. Boom. Absolutely amazing. Absolutely flavorful. And that's how we do it over here at Addis. That's how our people in Ethiopia are doing it. This is where it starts. If you want to understand Haben Girma, you have to understand where she comes from. And this is what it's all about. You got to see the Ethiopian coffee ceremony. You got to see us talking about the origin of the coffees, the origin of one of the oldest people in history, right? And then we got to dig into some of the best food that we know, chicken tips. I'm so glad y'all are able to join us. So glad to have y'all here. Keep reading, keep studying, keep getting into it. Never stop striving for the best. You can be as great as you possibly imagine. And I'm glad y'all were able to join me. Y'all have a great one. Enjoy the book. And we're out. Addis out. Woo!